What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Pass and Punch podcast. We both apologize for the long wait between the episodes. We've just been busy, a lot going on in our social lives, a lot going on in our work life, so we do apologize, but we do promise to be more consistent. As always, I'm joined by my co-host. What's going on, Drew?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just been busy.
A wild few weeks, yeah,
it is. But I've still been pumping out a little short videos here and there, like Chael Sonnen with the pieces,
right?
But nonetheless, we finally get to sit down, and a lot of news is actually taking place.
Yeah,
which is good.
Things are starting to kind of pick up again, too.
Right. Especially NFL, UFC. We got some great shit to talk about today. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, for sure.
I will start by saying I'm officially a fighter. No, I have been boxing though. I started a amateur boxing career about a week and a half ago.
Yes, sir. Jake Paul, where you at?
I'm calling him out. I want him.
2025.
It's been great, dude. I gotta say though, like training like a professional athlete is the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. It's hard.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, man.
Well, you went to a jiu-jitsu class, right? You did one of those classes.
Yeah, one. It's tiring. It's fun.
Just
though.
exhausting.
It's cool,
but it's fun, right? The feeling you get at post a workout, post one of those you feel great.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Get that nice like sweat out. Honestly.
Right.
It feels good.
Feels good to detoxify. You know who else feels good right now? Sergei Popovich.
Oh, I'm sure he does, man.
He's
just
bona
knocking
fide
people out now.
#1 contender. 6 first-round finishes in his last 6 fights, taking out names like Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa, and now Curtis Blades. Drew, kind of run me through that fight and your thoughts about it.
So I was definitely excited for that fight. I'm kind of a Curtis Blades fan. I like his style. I think he's a really good fighter. And honestly, I think if that fight, the way it played out, it was kind of he landed that heavy right hand a few times, and it was a good fight. I think if he could, for as long as it lasted, obviously he did get stopped in the first round. But I think if he was able to just stay on the outside a little bit, and he was setting up the level change, and if he was able to just stay on the outside and strike and get out in and out a lot, and make it get to the second round, and just then start to try to mix in the takedowns, I think it would have been different. But the way it played out, I mean, that power, you just can't take too many of those.
No, and the thing is, like you said, Curtis landed a few of those hard shots, and it was like Sergei had a granite chin, like another one of those Marvin Vettori guys. Like he eats them, man. And I think Sergei is a guy who takes those shots and is able to not be phased and game plan around them. I think his game plan was perfect. He kept everything up the middle, right? As we know, Curtis Blades as a grappler, he has the most takedowns in UFC heavyweight history, one of the most efficient wrestlers in UFC history. And like you said, like Curtis Blades, although towards the end the fight IQ wasn't the highest, he did have a game plan to where he wanted to stand and bang for a little bit, see what he can do, maybe survive a round or two. But instead of noticing that everything was coming in the middle, he didn't really try to go at the outside, which kind of sucks because you think he maybe used one of his skills to maybe get an ankle pick or something. I know it's hard with the big guys, but unfortunately, he couldn't get it going. And I don't think, and it sucks because it seems like Curtis Blades is always climbing the ranks and then gets shot down.
Right.
But I just wish it went a little longer. It sucks. But now we have a bona fide #1 contender who I think deserves a title shot more than Stipe. But before we get into that, where do you think kind of Curtis Blades, do you think goes next? Do you think it fights a guy like Gon?
I mean, that definitely could be that might be the obvious one, or that might be the one that honestly does happen. But I think after a loss like this, he got stopped, and it was decisive.
Yes.
And Tom Aspinall might be looking to return soon.
The fight night in London.
Yeah, and that fight that didn't really get to play out the way that it would have. It might just work out perfectly to just do the rematch and see if we can actually have that fight play out and see what actually would happen.
Because that was 15 seconds, kind of
right.
No one really got to see what they wanted to.
Like a weird injury.
Similar styles, grapplers, right?
Yeah, we might get to see that fight for real.
And we have Almeida versus Rosenstrike coming up soon, so that could be the winner of that. You know what I mean? Along those lines. But nonetheless, I do want to see another fight coming up soon for Curtis. I hate that happened to him, and I hope he can bounce back off of that. But pivoting, the big conversation right now, Drew, is what's going on with Sergei? What are they doing next? Because it's clear that he deserves a title shot. There's no one really, honestly, more deserving than him. He's knocked out all the top guys. But we know that Stipe versus John is somewhat in the planning for November. Do you think that fight should go to Stipe?
I mean, honestly, that's a hard question because Stipe, he's one of the GOATs, and he's earned his status in that division. Definitely.
Mhm.
I could see him coming back, and for that, that would be a super fight. That would be huge.
Yeah.
But you know, you also see the argument for Sergey. He is the up and coming young savage who's just been
Mhm.
putting people out.
Out. 50
So I don't
seconds.
know. I think I think like I think the Stipe John fight has to happen because if it doesn't happen soon, it never will.
Mm-mm.
They're both at the ends of their careers. I think
I'm sticking.
you're right. I think you gotta. I think that fight has to happen, and I think maybe Sergey should wait.
Okay.
Just wait and
Backup role too. He could probably take that backup role, make sure he
right,
makes weight, and then you kind of know he gets the winner of that.
right,
My whole thing is right. If this fight cannot be even planned by the summer, there's no point in throwing a 42-year-old Stipe or 41-year-old Stipe out there. But then you got to look at it John Jones' perspective, right? What would you rather retire on? Would you rather retire fighting a 41-year-old almost retired firefighter who's coming off a knockout loss to Francis Ngannou, or do you fight the young Russian gigantic heavyweight who has nuclear power and has put guys out in the first round with a total of one round of UFC fight? Like it's like who do
right,
you pick? And obviously Jones is going to have that ability to pick who he wants to fight. Is John Jones. So I think honestly at this point it's unrealistic to think that Stipe is not going to get the shot against John. I think that's goat versus
right.
goat. It's going to sell the most, best for business. I think you plan it, and unfortunately Sergey just waits. Probably waits for the
Right.
vacant title fight.
Probably. I mean, like honestly, man, that's like a legacy fight. Stipe versus
Mm-hmm.
Jones. That has to
Exactly.
happen. That's crucial for almost for the
And
UFC.
I'm okay with it. Don't get me wrong. Like I know that Sergey, and most of us know that Sergey probably deserves it more right now. But I think we're all okay seeing the Stipe get it because it's a retirement fight for both of them, and they're both legends in the sport.
Exactly.
And I think that's the most fair thing to do with it. And it does suck that a young guy like Sergey is gonna have to wait, but by the time all this is over, we know that Sergey's the future. We know that he's probably gonna get the champion of whoever he fights in the interim. I don't think anyone really
Right.
beats him right now. I think we're gonna see the future being Sergey in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, and and he might hold it for a while too, honestly, because he looks like a fucking beast.
There's not a lot of guys right now that can compete with him.
He's fast and powerful.
But there is a unknown to if someone can survive the onslaught the first round and wrestle him. There isn't a little bit of an unknown right now. Obviously, he has been involved in sambo when he was young, as sambo champion. Right, he's fought wrestlers, he's fought grapplers. But let's not act like the guy isn't the best wrestler in the world because, as we know, Alistair Overeem did beat him and
True.
used his grappling effectively, and that's kind of what we thought was going to happen with Curtis Blades. But unfortunately, it didn't. So let's wait till we get a guy like per se Gone, right? What if Cyril Gone comes back and he is way better of a grappler and is able like that'd be interesting if San proves in his next fight, if Gone proves in the next fight that he can grapple, and then him and Pavlovich end up going at it one day. I just think the next step for Sergey once he gets the belt would be a fight a grappler or some sort because I want to see a grappler versus
Right,
him.
right. I mean, yeah, I mean that's a banger down the road eventually for a Sergey versus Cyril
Yeah,
because that's gonna be a stand and bang.
yeah.
Two heavyweights, you know.
I would just think that Cyril's probably gonna have to get past a guy like Curtis Blades or Tom Aspinall now
Yeah,
because of how bad he got dominated by Jones.
and right before that, Ngannou too.
Mm-hmm.
And it would kind of, you know, I mean, Jones got the finish early, but they both dominated him in the wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, nonetheless, what a great fight. Well, I mean, we obviously have a future of the heavyweight. And it's nice to see. Nice to see a talented, high IQ, skillful heavyweight because let's be honest here, guys, we don't see a lot of them since guys like Junior Dos Santos and Cain Vasquez. We just don't see it as much anymore. And it's nice to see guys like that in the heavyweight division,
Right.
noting that we just lost Francis. Now we have another guy with nuclear power. So it's always fun to watch, right? Another headlines within the UFC. We got some planning going. We got your guy, the Reaper, will be fighting Duplessis on
Sir.
290 card.
Oh yeah.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts?
Oh man, anytime Rob's fighting, I'm watching. I love him. He's great style. He's really complete fighter. I think Duplessis is kind of just gonna be in over his head. He didn't look too great in his last fight. I think Rob's better than him everywhere, and I think it's gonna kind of be like a check for Duplessis.
Mm-hmm. And Dana White had called it an eliminator bout and per se, but I have the same thoughts as you, Drew. Like I don't see how such a close to perfect fighter like Robert, who has this amazing defensive wrestling, underrated offensive wrestling, phenomenal striking,
Right.
phenomenal IQ, and then you have a guy like Duplessis, who is tiring. I know he got his nose fixed, whatever, but he's obviously not as good as Robert anywhere. Maybe you could say wrestling or kickboxing. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Derek Brunson. The only reason he finished him is because Derek Brunson got more tired first. Like, I don't know, man.
Right.
I understand that Duplessis it finds a way to win and he finds a way to make a war, but you're talking about one of the best middleweights of all time.
Yeah, that's well put. I just feel like Rob is just on a. It's just going to be obvious, in my opinion, that there's levels.
Mhm.
Rob is on a different level than.
Yep, I
Duplessis.
think he puts just because in the first 2 rounds. Like I honestly do, and it's hard to say that, but I think so. You would think that that Duplessis would want to fight somebody like a Sean Strickland or so, to get maybe one more win before he gets a top 5 guy. Because we all know Derek Brunson, that just wasn't an impressive win. It really didn't stock
Right.
up or stock down him in my eyes.
Nah, he didn't look too great in the Till fight either.
Yeah, no. That fight really surprised me. I gotta say, like, I didn't really expect that one to be made. I thought Robert be fighting somebody else, or his next fight would be Adesanya. But winner that does get Adesanya. No more news on 290. As we know, Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez is on that fight. And Drew had let me know earlier because I'm a big Volk guy, and I'm sitting here saying Volk's gonna kill him. And listen, guys, I understand how dangerous Yair can be, and you said that there's maybe some people saying like watch out for Yair maybe a little bit.
Yeah, let's step back a little bit. Let's not. I mean, people are really just counting him out already.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's like
Might be a little bit disrespectful.
Okay, I get that. I
Like-
get that. I just look at it like how the last time Volk fought Max Holloway, he utterly just knew who he was and destroyed him.
Right.
And then you look at Yair and Max Holloway, and Max beat Yair. So it's kind of like a he beat him, he beat who kind of thing. But in MMA,
That's
it's
some
different.
MMA math there, though. I don't know how
Yes,
much.
yeah.
You got to take some of that with a grain of salt. You know, you never know. I mean, these fights are dynamic, and Yair does have some skills and power, and some boxing. You know,
Great kicks.
yeah. You know,
Great kicks.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Let's just. I would still pick Volk. I'm not picking Yair by any means, but let's not act like he doesn't deserve to be there.
Right. And I know you were saying the biggest pick so far that you have on that card right now, when we look at Dan Hooker versus Jalen Turner, you like the Tarantula?
Oh, I love it. I kind of think Hooker's done. I think I like Tarantula to finish him probably in the first round.
Wow.
Honestly, I just think Hooker. You just watch his last like 4 or 5 fights, and he just doesn't have it anymore. The chin.
Mhm.
He just gets stopped. Yeah, I don't know. He's on a slide.
Well, yeah, you look at Jalen Turner's last fight with Gamrot, and like Gamrot, we all know coming off a short notice, and obviously had a different style where he likes to wrestle a lot. And Jalen Turner went 5 rounds. I mean, it was a great fight. It was a great fight with Gamrot. I think Jalen Turner proved to be one of the top guys in the division, like top 10. And I think a guy like Dan Hooker is probably, like you said, on his way out a little bit. Maybe not as effective as he used to be. I think that's a nightmare matchup because just how big, like, at that lightweight division, Jalen Turner has a 77-inch reach. He's like 6'3". He's
Right.
gigantic, dude. And I actually like Jalen Turner a lot in there. I actually love Jalen Turner the way he fights, and I think he's nothing but up now. And he's young
Right.
too, right? He's young. I think this is a great fight to set him up for another top 5 fight, top 6 fight, right?
Exactly. That's what I think it is. Almost. It's like UFC kind of wants Jalen not to lose 2 in a row. Want him to get back on track. They're kind of giving him Dan Hooker. Almost.
We're gonna see Robbie Lawler on the prelims, which is awesome. We always love to see Robbie. Always
my
love to see
God.
Robbie
Never-
fight. I'm
never
trying
a
to
bo-
think of
never
the
a boring fight.
the one more fight. We got Davison Figueredo versus Manuel Cap. Manuel Cape, whatever his name is. He was supposed to fight Alex Perez a few weeks ago, but it got canceled. But Davison Figueredo and Brandon Moreno are fighting on the same card, but not each other.
Wild. It's
weird
been
'cause
years.
Last time we've seen that, they're always fighting each other.
Right.
I think Figgy. I know he announced something, but I think Figgy is like basically on his way out of that division.
Yeah.
I think he fights this guy. If he were to lose, I think it's an instant move up. If he wins, he probably has like a fight or 2 left there. Maybe challenge the title again, even though
Yeah.
no one wants to see it.
Maybe one more push. Yeah. I could kind of see that. After that, he's got to move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There's more. There are fights for him. The next step
definitely in
up.
bantamweight. Oh my
Right.
gosh, yeah. I think it'd be awesome to see him up there.
For sure.
And then you have Brandon the baby assassin Moreno going against Alex Pantoja for the title, which is interesting. Definitely, I think that's I want to say it's their 3rd fight. I think they fought once in Contender Series, once in the UFC, and I think this is the 3rd fight. I think I read that
I
somewhere.
believe.
Which is interesting. It'd be nice. Again, Moreno's a great freaking fighter, dude. He's
love
awesome.
watching him. Love watching him. I think, and still probably.
Yeah.
Early prediction.
The implications on that card are cool though, because it's like if the fight before that, if Davison Figueiredo were to win or Emmanuel Cap were to win, they're probably gonna call out Moreno. They're probably gonna want to fight the championship next, right? And then same thing with like Pantoja or Moreno. And then Bo Nichols on that card, and if he's fighting Chisholm Gore, which I personally don't have much experience or history with or know who he is. I know he's a prospect and he's very young, but that seems to me what Tapology looks like, another kind of go out there and win, Bo.
Right.
We want to set you up.
Yeah, building him up.
Yeah, because if he wins this one, he'll probably get somebody ranked, and then that's where the competition really comes in at.
Right.
Because welterweight, I would like to see him like start to take over welterweight a little bit.
Then we're gonna get like a better gauge of where he's really at, you know,
with
some of the better competition in the UFC.
The Jamie Pickett fight didn't really prove anything. Like it's Jamie Pickett. The guy was like 13-8 going in. He wasn't a winner for by any means. Like, but I mean, Bo Nickel, I would like to see his striking. I want to see striking. Definitely, it's one of those guys.
I want to see at least some of it in the fight. You know,
we know he can submit guys. Come on, we know we can submit guys.
I want to see him strike a little bit.
Nonetheless, guys, 290. If you want to tell a friend first fight they're gonna watch, get them to buy the fucking 290 card. It's stacked.
Hell yeah, it's gonna with entertaining fights too. That's gonna be a hell of a card.
I can't think where that card is. Damn it, I totally forgot what that card was.
Not sure.
You want to look it up real quick? I'll entertain. Yeah, but that's gonna be a great card, guys. Definitely gonna be. Any card with like Alexander Volkanovski on it's always a banger. Jalen Turner's I'm a really big Jalen Turner fan. I know he lost to Gamrot, but great fight nonetheless. You guys get Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo. That's gonna be a fight you guys buy.
It's in Vegas, T-Mobile Arena.
Oh my god,
perfect.
I love T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah, they do a lot of big cards.
Yeah, they do. They always do. I mean, I think that's the last time John Jones fought. It was in T-Mobile Arena. Yeah. When he just destroyed Gon, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then we have and let's not jump the gun too much. We do have 288 coming up in Newark, New Jersey, right near us,
hometown.
Yeah,
not really, but
kind
of
close enough.
Right.
Where we see Henry Cejudo versus Aljamain Sterling. What do you think? Who's winning? Give me your early pick.
That's tough. Give me Aljo though. I mean, I think Henry.
Really?
That's a long layoff for Henry. We haven't seen him in a while. I think Aljo. He's legit. I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be almost kind of disrespectful to him to just like immediately take for Cejudo to just come up and instantly think he's gonna take the belt.
Because he's been active and whatnot.
Right.
So here's my whole thing about the fight with Cejudo. Cejudo's been in his layoff, not like just kind of like he has been training with Demetrius Johnson, and he also has a gym where he trains like Zhang Wei Li, John Jones. Like he's training champions. He's around greatest of all times, like Demetrius Johnson and John Jones. I think we're gonna see a Henry Cejudo who looks maybe a teensy tiny bit less tempo going, but smarter. And more tactical. I think the fight is going to go the distance. I really do. I think this fight is going to go the distance. And I think Cejudo is going to land this fight. And they're going to look for a super fight in Volkanovski. That's going a little forward. But I do think that he wins. I think that Cejudo wins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, and I kind of agree with the going the distance. Definitely could see that. Because
they're both like Aljamain's gonna want to get on him and submit him. That's what he does.
Yeah,
but
he's
like
backpack.
Cejudo is a gigantic back for his division, and he's also just a phenomenal wrestler. He's an Olympic gold wrestler. You know what I mean?
Right. Very.
The guy's a beast. I think it's gonna be a good fight.
Oh, for sure.
But in other news, like May 6th, the Benino Dariush fight, Charles Arora fight got canceled, got moved to 289.
Right.
But then guess who hopped in? Gilbert fucking Burns, dude. Gilbert and Bilal Muhammad.
Gilbert's the man. He's just like, I'll just, any card, I'm there. Just whoever it is.
3 times this year now? Like,
yeah,
he's just a beast, dude. He wants to fight. He wants to stay active.
Tough fights, too. He's fighting a lot of tough fights. And he said, he was like, I want to fight for the title. I'll wait. And then here he is. He's like, I think he wins Benil, like... If he wins this next fight, give him the shot.
He has to get a shot.
Right.
I think whoever wins this fight gets a shot next. I think it's only fair. I think you can even make a case that Bilal is even like deserving right now. Obviously, you have a star-studded Dana White privilege boy in Colby Covington, but nonetheless, you had Burns who lost such a war to Khamzat Chimaev, a fucking war that no one thought was going to be like that.
Right.
And then you pivot to him, come off beating Neil Magny round 1 submission, then comes out and beats just happened? Jorge Masvidal. And then
Right.
a month later, he wants to fight Bilal Muhammad.
Insane.
The guy is active. He's fighting some really good fighters. He wants the title shot. If he wins this, there's no excuse to give him the title shot.
Absolutely.
And you know damn
Hands
well,
down.
if he wins this fight, he'll say, I'll fight in July. It doesn't matter. Put me
yeah,
in 2 months.
give me it. Give me it.
And if he wins this fight, I don't see how you think Colby. I don't think how anyone can justify Colby coming to get the title shot.
No, you can't. You can't just keep passing up Gilbert. I mean, he it's in your face. He deserves it.
I'm calling someone out too. I'm calling someone out.
Oh, are you?
MMA Joey on YouTube. MMA Joey's a relatively big YouTuber. MMA Joey's on Twitter and YouTube. He had thought. He said after Gilbert had came out and called, say all he wanted is a title after his post presser when he beat Jorge. He said MMA Joey says you can't just come out and beat Jorge Masvidal in decision and then won a title. Isn't that what Colby Covington's doing? Isn't Colby Covington's last fight against Jorge Masvidal in decision and then now he wants a title? Get the fuck out of here. Colby Covington does not deserve a shot. If Gilbert Burns win, he deserves it, or Bilal Muhammad. Colby needs a win. Colby hasn't fought. Like, the guy's coming off of, a fight to Jorge Masvidal, just like Gilbert. But Gilbert's like, screw it. That's not good enough. I'll go fight Bilal Muhammad.
Right. Yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, if he wins, you can't keep.
It's the bona fide #1 contender fight. There's really nothing about it.
Absolutely.
And then, I'll be honest with you guys, 288 isn't really that great of a card, though. It's probably like a B right now, B-, because thank God Gilbert's on it. But you guys like Bryce Mitchell and whatnot, not even, there's a bunch of counts of bouts. Nonetheless, though, those fights you don't know too many household names typically end up being pretty good cards.
Yeah, some good fights in there. A lot of guys with something to prove.
And you got some prospects coming up, right?
I like Bryce Mitchell too, and he's fighting. I forget the name, but it's 16-0. I believe that guy.
The guy's very good, and he's I can't think of his name either, but he is favored against Bryce Mitchell. Like he's great in that division. I wish I could think of his name.
Saw him fight. I forget. I don't know, but that's going to be a pretty interesting fight. I mean, Bryce Mitchell did not look too good against Probo in his last appearance, but before that, he looked really good. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets back on track. It's a tough fight to try to do that, but.
Nonetheless, 288 should be good. I mean, a lot of people are going to be waiting for the top two, the main and co-main events, and that tends to happen sometimes. It tends to happen, right? Which is okay, which is fine. But we do have some good fight nights coming up as well. We do have the Almeida versus Rosenstrike coming up. We have the Hermanson versus Brandon Allen coming up.
Right.
We have the Cannonier versus Martin Vettori coming up. Sean Strickland versus Abos Magomedov coming up. But I wanted to talk about like the next big fight night. Almeida versus Rosenstrike. I think we both think we like Rosenstrike. We think he's going to win.
I like him in that fight.
Right, and then we have Jack Hermanson versus Brandon Allen. That's actually a hard one to pick because they're both like pretty decent on the ground. They're both good grapplers.
Pretty. Brandon Allen's kind of got a versatile style too. Kind of like a, I don't know what you would call it, but like a, he's willing to mix it up for sure.
Right. Both of them aren't the best strikers.
Like a freestyle fighter.
Yes. Yeah. Both of them aren't the best strikers. They do leave a lot to be desired, especially with the guys in like the top 10, like a Sean Strickland. But nonetheless, that would set them up for a like a top 7, top 6 ranked contender if they were to win.
Right.
But I am actually somewhat really excited for the Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier because it's both just granite chin versus heavy hands.
Oh yeah.
I know Marvin's been in some boring fights, but like I genuinely like the Roman Dolidze versus Vettori fight. I thought that was a really good fight.
He's a dog. I like watching him. He goes forward. He's gonna take the shots and he's gonna throw them back too.
Yeah. And Cannonier's like 38 now, so it's like he's getting old up there, right?
Yeah, he's just got crazy power.
Oh, insane power. And then the one who made a headline is like, why is Sean Strickland fighting a guy who just made his UFC debut? That's weird to me.
Yeah, he's staying active.
I guess that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think everyone has Sean Strickland winning that fight, which I can see why. I mean,
Right.
It's just like it's a guy who's not even ranked yet.
Right.
And Sean Strickland's number 7, but God forbid Abus pulls it off. You know what I mean? That
would
sets
shake
him
things up. That shakes things up
big time.
Yeah.
He probably gets a winner like Cannonier versus Vettori later on. Honestly, something like that, right?
Yeah, at least in that range.
And in other news, Conor McGregor. So as we all know, Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis defeated Ryan Garcia via TKO body shot round 7. And post fight, the Mystic Mac was giving Ryan some advice, talking to him. he beat you. You won, and he's 1-0 against you. He 1-0 against you. See, I want to see it happen again. 140.
I want to see it again.
Probably on that ice cold. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, it was funny. But there was like footage of him gambling at this like roulette table, or I guess it was blackjack or roulette. And the guy asked him and said, "You look great. When are you gonna fight again?" And he said, "Late summer."
Oh my God, I can't wait. He better not be lying to us.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's happening eventually, but I can't wait to see the Mac back.
And that kind of sets up possibly an O'Malley McGregor, maybe O'Malley McGregor, what's her name? Shevchenko, Patty
Right.
Pimblett kind of card. That would be pretty sick, dude.
You just need those names. That's it. Connor.
Yeah.
You would have a Connor pay-per-view, not a title shot.
Mm-hmm.
Main event. That would be crazy. Yeah, I like it. I like
It'd be a
it.
good fight. Yeah, it'd be a good fight, but we will see the Mystic Mac back soon, which I'm hype about. I mean, everyone obviously wants to see it.
Oh yeah, and
But
the
then-
whole lead up is gonna be
But
crazy.
then even late Izzy's supposed to be even Izzy is supposed to be fighting late summer or like early fall.
Right? He wants to stay active, and I guess he didn't really take too much damage in the last fight against Pereira.
So you can see maybe even like a McGregor Izzy card will be kind of crazy, but it's hard not to have McGregor as it's hard to have McGregor as the co-main.
Yeah, I don't know how you can do
I
that.
don't. Here's I
That's
think
gonna.
you
'Cause
have to
that's
have
what
it.
people. I mean, that's like not even MMA fans are gonna watch that. Like that's almost has to be the main. People.
That's the thing, though. It's like, and I hate to say this, but the only way you put McGregor as a main event right now is if you put a women's championship bout as co-main.
Probably.
That's kind of what you have to do.
probably
In,
something
in
like
my
that.
head, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm thinking Alexa Grasso versus what's her name? Shevchenko. I can't believe I just said Grasso over Shevchenko first. I can't believe I
Well,
just
she's
did
the
that.
champ.
She is the champ for now.
Yeah, I don't think he beat Shevchenko twice in a row.
The bullet. Yeah, it's, she's so good. She just got caught, which is okay. And
It happens.
Props to Grasso, but I don't know how long that's gonna last for.
Yeah, I just don't see. I don't see anybody doing that to the bullet in a row.
Neither do I. No, I
She
don't.
bounces back and she makes her adjustments. And
Mhm.
it's really hard to do it twice. I just.
Okay, let's do a very hard pivot here before we get into the news that we're probably going to talk all about. Aaron Rodgers finalized a trade, or sorry, the Jets, basically Aaron Rodgers. The Jets have finalized a
Sauce
trade to the
Gardner.
Packers, or the Packers to the Jets. They will be swapping first-round picks, and the Jets will be getting Aaron Rodgers and a third-round pick, and then the Packers will be getting the swap. I think it's a second round, and so a second, a sixth, and a conditional 2024 that will become a first if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps. So a first round pick.
Right.
I think the trade's great for both teams. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of been a long time coming.
We knew it was happening.
It's been in the works, and yeah, it does make sense for both teams, and it's going to be definitely interesting to see how it changes things in the AFC.
Mhm.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers coming to any team is a huge impact right off the rip. Like,
yeah.
and they made a lot of other additions before getting him, kind of in preparation almost, you could say.
Alan Lazard and
Right.
all these guys that are coming over. I mean, obviously he said he had a checklist, quote unquote, but that got disproved, right? I mean, you got to look at it. Like, you got guys on the line. You got guys like Mekhi Becton at the left tackle, Elijah Vera Tucker inside guard. You know, they have, I can't forget the guys, the center. His name's Wes, and then some real long last name. I can't remember. Brees Hall, the running back
Right.
position. Garrett Wilson, McCole Hardman, Alan Lazard. The team was a quarterback away. And it's clear because they were almost a playoff team last year. But, you know, Mike White and Zach Wilson rotation, I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy.
They wouldn't allow that. They
No,
would.
no. And you have like such a great head coach in Robert Saleh, who is so defensive minded, and then
Right.
you're bringing Nathaniel Hackett in as the offensive coordinator position. I think they're going to be good, man. I think this is a great pickup for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, Jets definitely look a lot better.
Mhm. Well, look at it as the Packers' perspective too, right? They get to finally the first round pick they spent on number 30 a few years ago, Jordan Love, finally gets his time to shine. He showed
Yeah.
flashes this year. Remember when he came in against the Eagles? I remember like it was yesterday, and he threw a dot to oh my gosh, I remember his name. One of the wide receivers, one of the young wide receivers they had, threw like an 80-yard dot for a touchdown, right?
Right.
Romeo Dobbs, I think it was, or Christian Watson. It was Christian Watson.
Yes.
So it's time for Jordan Love to take over, right? This is the first time in 31 years that you won't have a Rodgers or a Favre at quarterback
Wow.
in Lambeau Field, which is insane.
That's wild. I mean, I guess the Packers, they seem to be able to do it right and transition to the newer quarterbacks correctly. So we'll see what happens with that. I think this was the plan all along, right? Draft the Aaron Rodgers replacement. Yeah, let him sit behind him for a couple of years, and eventually, and they didn't lose Rodgers for nothing. They actually were able to get some decent return on him.
And like you look at the Packers guys, you still have David Bakhtiari at the left tackle, right? I forget which one he plays. You still have guys like Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, freaking AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones. Like you still have a really freaking good team. And now it's the same things now. That are they now a quarterback still away, right? And you could say no. They probably do need a few more pieces, or maybe another star wide receiver. But with a lot of uncertainty with a guy like Jordan Love there, we don't know too much about Jordan Love. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see what Jordan Love can do. I love when a QB who's been waiting gets his chance, because you're either going to be horrendously awful and we're going to boo you out, or we're going to see a superstar in the making.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm excited to see.
Right.
I really
It's
am.
definitely going to be a cool dynamic. Definitely a new look in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Well, I think it's going to be like a kind of weird too, like to adjust to it.
Sure.
Even when I'm watching the Packers at primetime or something,
right?
It's going to be like, where the hell's number 12 at?
Right. It's been a long time with him.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers is also going to be wearing number 8.
Really?
That's what he wore at Cal. That's what he wore in his college. I just found that out.
That's kind of wild. All right.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like those single digits, I would expect him to run more. And kind of just how I'm thinking.
Yeah, I expect him to run a lot more this season. He's my number 8.
Yeah. All right. I've been like itching to get at it, but let's talk about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts just received a deal. It's a 5-year, $255 million deal with $179 million. Before we get into it, Howie motherfucking Roseman, the cap hit over the next 3 years, $19.6 million.
Insane.
Where the hell did he fucking cook this up at?
Insane.
How did this get done? That still leaves us to like we were in the
no
conversation.
Trade clause.
We were in the conversation of getting Derrick Henry this morning. Like now it's like instead of the window closing, the window's fucking opened.
Right. It's insane. I don't know how he pulled it off, or what. I don't know what it means for us in a couple of years, maybe, but it looks like we're going for it.
I mean, seriously,
like,
seriously.
Right. Like,
and Jalen Hurts had a press conference today, and he said, "You know what I like more than money?" He said, "Money's great, but championships are better." And a single tear rolled down my eye. Like,
right.
I'm about to get emotional because this
That's
kid,
my
like,
quarterback.
Jalen Hurts embodies everything you want in a leader, a football player, and a person, and the star of your city.
It's perfect.
I love Bryce Harper. Jalen Hurts is above Joel Embiid, is above all these guys. Jalen Hurts is the number one loved figure in this fucking city right now.
Yeah, I think it's hands down.
He takes this deal. Obviously, he didn't want it fully guaranteed, which helps us. Spread the money out, which helps us. So credit to Nicole Lynn, his agent. Credit to Howie Roseman. Credit to the Eagles organization. Credit to Jalen Hurts for making this deal able to be us flexible and us to go. You feel the same way I do?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't handcuff the organization. It just worked out. He got a very, very awesome contract. Like he made his money. He got his no trade clause. He deserved a great contract, but it also wasn't crippling for the Eagles. It was a win-win for both sides, and that doesn't always happen. Fucking awesome. I'm really excited about it. It puts us in a position we're going for the next like 3 years.
Yeah, this is awesome to me. I'm just so excited to be able to sign a quarterback in today's market and still be in the names for people like Derrick Henry. It's insane. And Buda Baker. It's insane to me. Because that's
one
also
of them
alleged.
are coming. One of them, at least.
I think Howie pulled the trigger because if you look at it, aren't they kind of our biggest needs outside of linebacker, I guess? Running back, linebacker, and safety.
Yeah, that's...
And you can even argue that running back isn't even that much of a need because of Kenny and Rashad Penny.
Yeah, you could make that argument, but when there's names like Derrick Henry and Bijan being thrown around, it really...
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
So, is that who you think they go with at the 10th pick?
I think if he's there, yeah, probably.
If you want the city to upward and be happy and finally just be like, we love you, Howie Roseman, please, we love you, baby. Like, you go pick Bijan Robinson.
You do it, yeah.
And he was kind of funny to me
earlier.
That
offense, it looks insane.
What were you saying to me earlier? You said that the Derrick Henry thing might even be a smokescreen to kind of get our attention off us getting Bijan.
Yeah, it could kind of just be like, we're trying to hide our hand a little bit. Like, we don't want it to be like a lock that we're taking him. Like, trying to, keep our cards hidden a little bit.
It's funny to me that like NFL executives, there was a thing going around that NFL teams have been saying that they don't want the Eagles to get Bijan Robinson. Like they're afraid for the Eagles to get Bijan. I mean, which is kind of true. Like, if they get this good of a rookie running back on a rookie deal, I'm telling you right now,
Shit.
Super Bowl.
Shit.
And they land Buda Baker.
Shit, dude.
Oh
Watch
my
out.
gosh,
Like,
dude,
oh
this
my
team will
God.
go to the fucking 2 more Super Bowls.
Not
Like,
one, not 6, not
two.
7. Oh my God.
It'd be insane. It'd be insane.
That'd be
Because
fucking.
It's the same emotion with Derrick Henry, which is funny enough.
Yeah, I think maybe in the event that he's not there at 10, Bijan's not there, then maybe you do make the trade for Derrick Henry and use that pick on a defensive player, like Carter.
If he's there, or like, and then here's my thing, right? I think at pick 10, if he's not there, right, you either get a Carter or some really high profile. If nothing's there for you, really like trade back, right? At the 30th overall pick, if Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back out of Alabama, isn't there, then it's okay. Let's trade for Derrick Henry and get like a high value safety the next round or something.
Yeah, worst case scenario, I think.
Or you could kind of do like one first rounder for Buda Baker, one first rounder for Derrick Henry. Call it a draft, call it a day.
Right? I mean,
just sleep in your office. Don't even draft the players. Just trade everything away.
And AJ Brown kind of was calling for Derrick Henry.
22 is wide open.
You know, right back-to-back years, trade for AJ Brown. Then the next year, yeah, we're just taking it. You know, we'll take Derrick Henry too. Like
we're just robbing the Titans, dude. The poor Titans, dude.
Oh my!
And then we just signed their quarterback and has a lower cap hit than Ryan Tannehill. Tennessee Titans, we do are accepting fans if you need a new fan base to go to. We are accepting fans.
Yeah, for real.
That's rough.
That is terrible.
How about Lamar Jackson not being signed?
But Nashville, I mean, at least the Titans stadium is useful for something. They had a Luke Combs concert last week.
Yeah. At least you guys can do something right.
Right.
No shots taken. No shots taken. Drew, what do you think about Lamar Jackson not being signed yet?
You know, I mean, I just think it's kind of the longer it goes, the less a chance he really stays involved.
Yeah. I think the far it goes, the less he's going to get any shot towards the money he wants.
Yeah, I think he's kind of putting his back against the wall.
I think the realm of getting what he wants is kind of out of the picture now. I don't think he's going to get nearly. I think what he was offered at first, what he was offered before, I think that's what he was going to get. And now it's kind of like, dude, you better sign an agent because you might be fucked.
For real? Like, yeah.
Because Jalen Hurts has proven he can lead his team to the big game. He can stay healthy. He can guarantee us 15, 16 games. Lamar won the MVP, and after that, first round exit, injury, 11 games in 2 years. Like, come on, dude, you're not showing that you maybe need all this guaranteed money.
Yeah, I don't know, especially with Hurts not taking all that guaranteed.
Yeah,
like I think he really did kind of fuck him.
I did too. I think he's going to be out of the range for that.
A little bit of a bit. Like he's Lamar Jackson. He's still one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Like he's gonna have a job somewhere.
He will have a job.
Right. But
yeah.
It's definitely contract wise. I don't think he played his cards right.
Yeah. Who do you think? I was saying, who do you think is gonna be the first quarterback to go off the board? I was thinking that because who has the first overall pick? The Panthers. Do you think they draft like a prodigy development project like Anthony Richardson, or do you think they go for like Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud?
Yeah, that's kind of hard.
I was saying the same thing, dude. It's kind of hard to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of think they do go quarterback. Like that's pretty.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's kind of set in stone at this point. Right. Like it's either that or they're trading back. I think like if Frank Reich is gonna want a project guy, like he's not gonna want Andy Dalton to be his starter. Like they're gonna have to go quarterback at this point.
Right. Unless you just don't think any of those ones are the guy,
and you sign Lamar Jackson,
and you trade back.
Yeah, right. And you go get Lamar.
That's an option. I think Bryce Young's probably the first.
That's bold. And I here's the thing though. Like I know no one's projecting it, but I also think the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was I want to say 3 or 2 year starter at Alabama, Heisman winner. I know he's short, but he's a fucking amazing talent. He's the best leader in the draft, arguably. I just think he is. Why not go with him? Why make it fucking as a first year head coach? Why would you go out there and want to make a risky pick at Anthony Richardson? Right. That's not really less of a guarantee than Bryce Young.
Right, and honestly, most of the time those risky picks don't work out.
Yeah,
most of the time. Like there's the ones that do, and they become like awesome players or whatever. But like most of the time, it doesn't work out. There's that chance, and that's what you're banking on, but like maybe you don't want to bank on that with the first overall pick.
I'll make it bold.
Or that.
But the Panthers, their first overall pick, obviously picked someone who was like a similar style to Anthony Richardson, but more proven in Cam Newton, and they didn't win a Super Bowl. So I know Cam Newton was a great player for a few years, but they didn't win a Super Bowl. Go with the proven leader. Go with the guy who's going to get it done. Go with the guy who's been under one of the best college head coaches of all time, best leadership, right? Just go with him.
Yeah, he's a little bit more of a sure thing, and I think you're in a position where you kind of need that.
Yeah.
Don't take a gamble.
Exactly what I was saying.
Or somebody who's a project. Like, do you really want a project, right?
You're a first-year head coach in a franchise that's been in the dumps the last few years.
Right.
Like with quarterbacks like PJ Walker and Baker Mayfield. Like, dude, lock it down.
Right.
Get your guy who's a reliable starter and just go. Just go run for it.
Right.
It is draft week though. I think this draft is this Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
Which is I don't know. Obviously, I could listen.
Like anxious, honestly.
Yeah, I'll watch the other draft picks and I do care, but when it comes I want to see the Eagles pick because this is one of those what team has went to the Super Bowl, came back and had this intriguing of a pick.
We got 2 first-rounders.
The team that went to the Super Bowl might be able to get Bijan Robinson and or Jalen Carter, or Jalen Carter and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, there's unlimited names.
There's a lot of there's a lot of really good routes that the Eagles could take.
Mm-hmm.
They could draft Bijan. They could not draft him, trade back. Trade for Derrick Henry. There could be a scenario where we trade for Budda Baker.
Right?
There's a lot of avenues that the Eagles could take to have a really good first night of the draft.
D-Hop is even on the market.
Right. I mean, we could trade back from that second pick or use the first pick on Bijan or Jalen Carter. Still trade the second pick. Maybe still get if you draft. There's just a lot of options. I'm excited for this draft.
We have so much capital and we were just such a dominant team.
Yeah.
We just blew every team out by fucking 30
Doesn't
points.
happen, and we locked down our franchise quarterback.
Yeah. Before we sign off, I do want to get some bold. I want to make some bold statements, right? I want to talk about like next year. Give me some. Who do you think are going to be some top teams? Like it doesn't have to be bold, but do you have anybody maybe that wasn't good last year that would be the top team this year that I could think of? And I'm also going to think about it too because when I look at teams, I'm looking at like teams like Dallas Cowboys. Like I think the Dallas Cowboys will take a step back this year for some reason, even though they've gotten better. I just somehow think that Dak will mentally not be able to recover from last year. And I think he take a step back.
It's bold. I don't want to just hate on Dallas because like they do look a little scary to me, but I mean honestly the Jets I think they're gonna really turn it around. They're gonna become a contender right away.
Who do you think is gonna be the starting quarterback for the Ravens next year?
Lamar. I do think for this year I think it'll be Lamar, but I don't think they get him signed to.
I don't think he plays, and I think if you didn't know today, this just came out. Tyler Huntley ended up signing the deal for like 1 year, $2 million. I actually think Tyler Huntley will be the starting quarterback.
Really?
I think Lamar's done. I do. I don't.
Really.
Atlanta might even go pull him.
That could be an option.
Atlanta could go kind of try to trade for him, but then they would have to give up that pick, probably most likely.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Bold picks for next year. I think the Eagles repeat as NFC champions. I really do. Because the NFC's so weak.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel like the Eagles. I can't say for sure that they've gotten better as of now, but they have the opportunity to get better.
Mm-hmm.
After the draft, we could be looking at a better roster than last year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think another team that's gotten better is going to be, I think the Detroit Lions come out of the North. But if you didn't guys hear the freaking gambling shit that just happened, the wide receiver Jameson Williams, Quentin Cephas, and one of their safeties just got suspended for gambling.
Right, I saw that.
Chauncey's crying right now.
Insane, right?
That sucks, Chauncey.
Yeah,
we don't gamble here.
Yeah,
should have stayed. But I do think nonetheless they're still a great team, and I think they'll. I don't know. Wait a minute. That wide receivers might hurt them a bit.
Yeah, they're not that.
Quentin Cephas and Jameson Williams. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, Amon-Ra, Brown still.
They do still have, and they have. Oh wait, no, they traded T.J. Hawkinson last year. That actually might hurt them a lot.
Yeah, they're gonna.
But they get David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift, so I still think they'll be a very good team. Like I still think they'll probably be out of the North.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I like the what the coach is putting down there. What's his freaking name?
You know, maybe the Packers honestly don't fall off as hard as people.
Wild card?
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe they don't fall off as hard as people think. And Jordan, that's what I. Maybe
okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. That's not a bad pick. I think the Giants getting a wild card. And here's my bold. I think the Giants lap the Cowboys for a wild card spot, and I think the Cowboys miss the playoffs.
Really?
And that's I think they go 8-9. I think they missed the
Okay.
playoffs. And that's
Okay.
I'm honestly being as biased as I can right now. I'm just thinking in my head right now. That's personally what I think. I think Pollard, that injury was scary. The rolled ankle, rolled knee. I think that's gonna hurt him. I think
Yeah.
Dak Prescott is not gonna be the player he is. And I know they just signed for Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks getting a little bit old. I still think they'll have a high-powered offense.
So what's up with Zeke? Where's he? Where's
Philadelphia
he
Eagles.
going? I mean, where's he going?
He wants to come here on a cheap deal for a power back. Okay, I don't know where he's going. Probably the Jets. I don't know.
Maybe Cincy.
Maybe because they just lost Samaje Perine.
Yeah, kind of fill that role. Maybe even kind of get a little more carries.
He's even in a place like Detroit for some reason, even though they don't need him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of been quiet with him.
I don't think any team's like dying to the bits to get him.
Yeah, which I think he's a little shocked about.
Probably like, damn, bro, what the hell's
Right.
going on here?
Right. He's probably
Maybe like the Giants or Washington too could be in the running for him.
maybe, yeah.
But I know he only wanted to play for select teams. But I feel like at this point of his career, I feel like you're not really gonna demand like
Right,
you're
unless
not
you're
the
just
hottest.
unless you're just trying to be a role player. Maybe if you're trying
Trying to win a Super
if
Bowl.
you're willing to be humble and step back and like take on a role on a contender, then maybe.
I think he does want to go to a contender and win a Super Bowl. I think that's kind of where he's at now.
Right.
So he was a great back for many years.
Yeah, for sure.
And I
Sure.
think we'll end with the story. Actually, Nate Diaz just got a warrant issued for his arrest for choking out the Logan Paul lookalike.
Wild.
Just choked him out.
What
in the
kind of
street.
world are we living in?
But if you guys don't know, like the video that I'll link down below somewhere, at the very end when they twist, you can see the guy go for a takedown, like go to take down. And I don't know, maybe like he grabbed him. We don't know. It's obviously unclear. But from what I see, it looks like he tried to take down Nate, and Nate just kind of a ninja choke and just choked him out.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, I would agree. Like, Nate had him in a position to where, like, he could have done, like, damage to him, but I feel like he was more or less just trying to de-escalate the situation.
Like a
not-
self-defense jiu-jitsu move.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But
Wild, though.
he is a pro MMA fighter, and Nate Diaz is known for getting these kind of scuffles.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a
He
bad
probably just
look.
said the Logan Paul lookalike dude. I don't know his real name, but that dude probably just talked a little shit to Nate Diaz, and Nate never lets that slide with him.
And like minutes prior, Nate was like throwing water bottles at people inside the stadium.
Yeah.
He's just a menace.
He's a wild figure.
And he's boxing Jake Paul.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Maybe you should box Nate eventually.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Chase versus Nate.
I want him. I want him. Did you see the video? You guys must have seen it when he was walking down the aisle and he flinched at Leon Edwards, and Leon Edwards
yeah,
drinking
yeah,
everywhere,
yeah.
dude. Oh my god, he's just a menace, dude.
He's a dick.
He's just he's
Love
an
him.
asshole, but he's a funny asshole.
Yeah, but you love it.
I love him, dude. Well, I mean, anything else on your mind, Drew?
Not much, really, man.
Exciting, more fights coming up. Always
Yeah.
exciting fights.
I'm really hyped for this draft. Interested. A lot of stuff that could happen.
Yeah, I think once the first 10 happen, the first round, I think we should do like a video or something to outline
Yeah,
that. We'll definitely
yeah.
talk about it.
And then it's gonna be interesting. I would say though, prediction. I think the Eagles only actually draft one player in the first.
Okay, I like that too. No, definitely, because that's definitely like, yeah, I could definitely see that. Because trading back, I mean, getting more capital for next year is probably the best thing you want to do.
Yeah, I think we only actually draft one player. Probably with the 10th pick.
Okay, yeah, no, I like that too. We'll have some more draft content coming out soon, guys. Some more podcasts coming out soon, and just some more content overall. Thank you guys for this continued support. Sorry for a little bit of a layoff. Drew, thank you for joining me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate everything, and we'll see you next time.